Hi, everyone. Nikolai here from the Financial Commission. I'm here with you once again this month to talk about our monthly complaints digest. This time we're going to be talking about our key operating metrics for February 2021. If you'd like to follow along, our detailed report was actually published earlier today on our website, and below this video in the description, you'll find a link to the full report so you can check out all the statistics. And with that, let's begin. Um, we had a bit of a slowdown in February as compared to January 2021. We had 101 new filed complaints in February as compared to 170 in January, which is about a 41% decrease month over month. But at the same time, last month we resolved 135 complaints, which is roughly down only about 8% month over month from February. So we did see a bit of a slowdown, but we also had a number of complaints that remained unresolved at the end of January of this year and carried over into February and were resolved successfully in February. Interesting to note, one of the key metrics that we look at every month is the amount of money that was sought from traders in the complaints that they filed. I'm happy to say that this metric has continued to rise. If you follow my monthly digests or videos, you'll know that from November, December of last year, this number has increased month over month. And from January to February, it increased once again by actually jumping about 50%. So in February 2021, the total amount sought from all brokers in complaints was 1,554,000 as compared to 1,035,000 in January. So a pretty healthy increase and uptick there. If we break that down into complaints that were filed against brokers that are members of the Financial Commission versus those that aren't members of the Financial Commission, we see that a majority of funds were actually requested from non-member brokers. About $1.3 million was requested from brokers who are not members of the Financial Commission, and about 207,000 was requested from brokers that are participating members of our organization. At the same time, when we look month over month at the amount of money we actually awarded out of all of these complaints, another month of growth there. In February, we awarded $23,540 to traders, whereas in January of this year, that number was 14,158. So roughly about a 66% increase month over month there. So about 11% of all money that's requested from traders in complaints was paid out in February. Now, probably one of our most important metrics that we look at is average dispute resolution time. So how long does it take us to resolve a dispute that was filed with us in any particular month? In February, this metric was 8.3 days, which is significantly a shorter time frame than one would expect at other, let's say, comparable external dispute resolution services, which could take, possibly a few weeks or even months. So definitely a much shorter time frame. But when we look at our performance itself, month over month, we see that the average dispute resolution time actually ticked up quite a bit from January to February. So in January, this metric was 5.7 days. And like I said, it's 8.3 days in February. Now, I don't think it's anything much to be worried about in the sense that our processes or dispute resolutions are slowing down. I think we were inundated with complaints at the end of last year in December. And if you look back at our statistics for January, you'll see that we did quite a good job of essentially resolving and closing a lot of complaints that had accumulated over the span of a month or two. And in February, we spent quite a bit of time resolving complaints that were actually filed in January and carried over. So in that sense, the dispute resolution times are increasing, but not something that is drastic or something that we should necessarily be specifically worried about at this time. Now, every month we also look at the types of complaints that are filed with the Financial Commission. And as in January and also in December of last year, we see that financial trading complaints make up the majority or almost the majority. We actually see that in February, non-trading complaints accounted for 39% of all complaints, and 38% were financial complaints. So those two categories captured the majority of complaints for last month. And trading complaints made up 24% of all complaints new complaints that we received in the month of February. So we did see a lot of drastic price action and market movement earlier this year already, actually, in the equities markets. We see that things are starting to go more range bound on the markets, and we see that a lot of complaints are continuing to come in with respect to customers having issues depositing or withdrawing funds, and also quite a bit of customers having issues with customer service, their terms and conditions, as well as possibly bonus policies, which would fit into the non-trading category. Now, if we take a step back and we talk again about complaints values, what we do every month is see what is the average value of a new complaint that we receive month over month. And in February, interestingly enough, this metric grew by 153%. So in January, our average complaints value was $6,090, whereas in February, this metric is now 15,388. So we had quite a big jump in the average value of complaints in February as opposed to January. Considering that we had 101 complaints filed last month, and considering the amount of money that was requested, we see that we're getting less complaints, but there are more valuable, and hence require more attention and more scrutiny from the Dispute Resolution Committee with respect to making a determination on a complaint, investigating what transpired, and helping the trader and the broker come to an amicable resolution. When we look at complaints value categories, we also split these up. These are also listed in the report. Once again, last month, the category of $0 to $99 complaints made up the majority. So about 36% of all complaints that were filed were in this category. But interestingly enough, the next two highest performing value categories are $1,000 to $999. That made up about 27% of all complaints last month. And the category of $100 to $499 made up 21% of all complaints. So yes, the majority of complaints are of a smaller size in terms of value, but we do see that quite a bit are also on the higher end, and like I said, require more work and more detailed analysis from the dispute resolution committee. Now, obviously, a lot of people always want to know, well, how many complaints did you rule in favor of the broker, and how many did you rule in favor of the client? When we look at February, we see 74 complaints ruled in favor of brokers, 16 complaints ruled in favor of clients, and like I said before, out of those 16 complaints, we awarded $23,540 to those traders. And 45 complaints were ruled, had a ruling of not specified, so the committee could not rule in favor or against either of the parties. This kind of situation happens if there is no actual formal complaint. Perhaps the trader or customer is simply confused or doesn't understand something specific to their trading account or their terms governing their relationship with the broker. And essentially, in those kind of cases, the commission cannot make a particular decision one way or another. There are a few other instances when such things can take place. For example, if the complaint is involving a third-party service, let's say an expert advisor or some consultant that is helping the trader basically make trading decisions, the commission in those kind of cases cannot take up such a complaint because it's outside of the jurisdiction of our rules and guidelines that we have for both traders and for brokers. When we take a look at how many complaints were received against our member brokers, we see that out of 101 complaints last month, 78 were filed against members. And so if we do the math, roughly 23 complaints were filed against non-members. And again, if you take a look back at the amount sought in these complaints, you could see that of the complaints that were filed against brokers that are not members of the Financial Commission, those complaints were of a high value. So clearly traders are having difficulties with some brokers out there, and they're looking to the Financial Commission for help. Now, as we go forward, March is obviously already here. April is soon to come. What we anticipate is that market volatility, although it has subsided somewhat, we would expect to see more market volatility as time passes and as the month goes along. The entire world is sort of waking up out of the lockdowns and effects of the coronavirus pandemic, and a lot of people are anxious to see economic activity return around the globe. We think that this will possibly have some positive effect on market movements and obviously trader sentiment and trader interest in executing trades on the different markets. And hence we expect that our complaint metrics month over month will either continue to be stable, or perhaps we will see an upshot in new complaints as we move through the late winter and spring months. With that being said, that's really all for me today. I thank you for joining me, and like I said, the link to the report is available below in the description of the video, so you could follow along, and hopefully I will see you again next month in April, when we'll be able to discuss our metrics for March 2021. I wish everyone health and luck, and I will see you next time. Thanks very much for joining me.